For our more experienced users of Medulr, you may have noticed all of the different functions that are available. However, you may not have used them all that often within your materials, if at all. These functions are primarily used when you are planning on building a material using functions instead of resources. But you are also able to use them in unison with resources if you wish to. What I'm going to do is demonstrate just a small amount of the power that you have when you're using these functions by building an entire material from scratch with just the use of functions and material nodes. So when you're wanting to build a material using functions, you need to have a clear idea in your head or an image of what you're trying to make, as it can be easy to lose track of what you're trying to make if you don't. For me, what I am planning on making is a set of deep blue rectangular bathroom tiles. So let's see the type of results that I am able to achieve quite quickly by using functions. So to start off, I want to first get our tile's size, shape, and base color. To do this, I'm going to use the tile texture function and edit the parameters of the main node as to adjust the tiles to the look and size that I want. Many of the function nodes in Medulr that you can use will already have other functions pre-attached to it. For this material, I won't be editing any of these and I can just ignore them. I'm also bringing in the bump map functions that go with the tile so that I can give the tile some depth. So when you're creating a material using functions, you'll mainly be editing the parameters of the functions and materials manually, as you'll be having much fewer connections than you normally would with a resource material. So now that I've set up the tiles, I want to start working on getting a light pattern throughout the tile so that we aren't just using a flat color. To get a pattern throughout our tiles, I'm going to be using a purlin noise texture and connecting it up to its own material. Then by editing the purlin noise texture's parameters until I get a nice looking pattern. The amount of combinations that you can get using manual values is endless and changes depending on the results you're trying to achieve. So now that we have our pattern, I'm going to use a blend material to combine it with our tile material. And then by setting the blend weight manually to get the exact amount of blending that I'm looking for. So let's keep working on the material as I'm not happy with it yet. I'm adding in a clear coat material, but I'm not using this clear coat to give the material a glossy coating. I'm using it to further build up on the patterns, which you'll be able to see shortly. So I'm bringing in a flow noise bump texture and editing the function until I get a streak-like pattern over the material. But now since I'm not after the glossy look, let's go back to our clear coat material and start fiddling with the roughness and visibility of the clear coat until we get a look that we are happy with. And to apply a finish to our tiles, I'll once again be using a clear coat, but this time I'll be using it for its intended purpose of providing a glossy coating to our material. So with this clear coat, I don't want the grout areas to be covered in an even layer of gloss like our tiles themselves. To fix this situation, I'm connecting the tile bump map to the clear coat so that it gives our glossy layer the same shape as our tiles. And then I'm just editing the parameters of the final clear coat material until I get my desired results. So this was a somewhat simple material made using functions, and you can go much more in depth while using these functions. The main thing to do is just remember to have a clear goal of what material you're trying to achieve, and to take advantage of the functions that you've already used at different stages in your material, as these previous functions may be of use later on. As well as keeping in mind that a material isn't always only able to do the thing that it is named after, as I have shown with the clear coat material from earlier. You can mold the different types of nodes into getting the results that you are looking for. Try messing around with building your materials and get a feel for what these functions do and how you might be able to use them, and see the materials you imagine take shape within Medulr.